If you want to crush your next .NET developer job interview, or heck, any coding interview, you have to be able to answer questions about coding and your experience. Now, I'm not going to give a list of 16 interview questions because honestly, that won't help very much. The dirty secret is that your interviewer knows within the first 10 or 15 minutes if they're going to skip you or move you to the next round. Instead, what you need to understand is how to answer any question to signal to the interviewer that you're picking up what they're putting down. That is what builds immediate positive rapport with the interviewer. There are subtle tactics to using your responses that will make the hiring manager bend over backwards to get you on their team. In this video, we're going to cover 8 tactics for how to answer any interview question that comes your way. Stick around for the last one because you'll absolutely want it in your bag of tricks. Number 1, stress is coming. The increased heart rate and shortness of breath are very natural responses and highly predictable for this situation. Your mind might go completely blank, and I know because that's happened to me. When you feel it coming on, accept it, and if necessary, simply ask for a brief moment to take a breath or grab a drink. Your interviewer is human and will understand. If they don't, I promise you discovered a critical issue with that manager and you don't want to work there anyway. Number 2, actually answer the question with a clear response. Most candidates start on an answer and then quickly divert to using analogies. If the interviewer asks, "What is a class?" many people start on the right answer and then resort to something else. For example, a bad answer is, well, a class is the blueprint for an object. Like if we have a class animal, and then we'll add things like number of legs, is mammal, habitat type, etc. That's a bad answer because they barely gave a definition and then quickly moved to an analogy. Instead of a great answer being, well, class is the fundamental unit of object-oriented programming. It's a collection of methods and properties that are used to define and model the things we'll use in our program. For example, if we were to model an animal, then we might have the property number of legs and a method called hunt. See the difference? Number 3, rehearse your responses out loud using your own words. Words in your head aren't words, they're thoughts. Your interviewer can judge you only by your words. The way to make your words sound the best is to practice saying them. For example, if I tell a long story many times over, then I can remember that thing nearly verbatim each time I tell it again. But if that story only lives in my head as thoughts, I'm going to really struggle the first couple of times I try to say it out loud. Put your best foot forward and rehearse your responses out loud. Number 4, be honest with your responses. If you don't know something, just admit that you don't know it. The worst thing to do is to make up an answer that is completely wrong. Then they'll question everything else you've said. Number 5, this one is so important to get right. When necessary, use supporting information and details to substantiate your response. We're hard on candidates that provide surface level information because that screams fraud. People with real experience generally can talk about it. If you're asked to talk about an experience of a difficult project, and the best you can muster is it was a hard project because the deadline was short, then your answer isn't going to count for very much. Instead, talk about what made it hard. Maybe it was the poor requirements, or the team lead that quit halfway through the project, or the unreliable build pipelines that kept failing. Find some way to go deeper than, oh, well, it was hard because of some simple reason. Number 6, if you don't understand the question or it doesn't make sense, ask the interviewer to repeat it or ask it in a different way. Give yourself the best chance to respond with something intelligent. Number 7, for Pete's sake, have actual questions ready when they ask, "Do you have any questions?" Candidates get skipped over because they ignored this critical junction point of the interview. No questions from the candidate signals, "I don't care at all about this job, so we just move on to the next candidate." You must have questions ready for that moment, and they can be canned questions that you ask the same 2 or 3 questions at every interview. Just ask something. And finally, number 8, we've saved the best for last. This is a tip you're only going to find in this video. This is the best one I can offer to be prepared for an interview. Build the list of interview questions that you would use to hire for this position you're applying to. Pretend you're the hiring manager. What kind of interview would you want to run the candidate through? Figure out the list of questions, write down acceptable answers, and that serves as an incredible preparation step to be ready to crush it when it's your turn to give the answers. If you want to take it a step further, write the answers as you would expect to get from a junior candidate, an intermediate candidate, and a senior candidate. They will provide very different answers, and you can predict what their answers should be if you just take the time to write them down. Remember to rehearse those answers out loud. Put your thoughts into words. I coach our interview teams to make hiring decisions based on exactly what the candidate shows in the interview, not what we think that they can do or what we think that they meant. We use their words and only their words to decide if we want this person on our team, which is why all 8 of these tips are to help you get the best words out of your mouth at the right time to show this interviewer that you know what you're talking about and you're the person that they should have on their team. Now, get cracking on those interview questions and go crush your next interview.